Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the wonderful world you are tuning in from. This is Jesse Brower coming at you live from the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship show. And for those of you who are just tuning into the show for the first time, I want to tell you why I do the show. And there's really three reasons. Number one, I get to bring experts from around the world like Dr. Farrah, all kinds of different experts, e-commerce experts, entrepreneurs that are involved in trading and in real estate. And in this case, we have an entrepreneur with us today who has her own health and wellness supplements, right? So I get the experts from around the world. I bring them on the show to inspire entrepreneurship. I want everybody who sees this to know that you can get busy building your own dreams. You can be an entrepreneur. You can start a side hustle and you can grow that into something that is incredible. And with a specific focus on the Philippines, guys. As you can see in my background, we have the Chocolate Hills, which is one of my favorite places in Bohol. I mean, it's incredible. So, inspire entrepreneurship around the world with a specific focus on the Philippines. Number two, people have been telling me I have a radio voice and that I should be doing something like this. So I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. And number three, I get to surround myself with the experts. And you know what they say is who you surround yourself with is who you become. So it's terrific. I get to grow and learn along with the audience. So with that, we have Dr. Farrah and her husband, Jack, on the show today. And Dr. Farrah, she is world renowned. I mean, she's well known for her work in natural medicine, and I'm going to let her introduce herself right now with that. Dr. Farrah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Dr. Farrah. I have been a medical doctor for almost 18 years now, 2 decades. And I'm a phytoscientist. I've been a phytoscientist for 10 years and a medical researcher for 5 years now. I went to St. Louis University, if you're familiar with that. That's in Baguio City. And I also did some course in Harvard and University of Michigan.
And MIT?
And MIT. So I'm all over the place.
Incredible, incredible. Well, once again, thanks for coming on the show, and thanks, Jack, for being here as well. It's such an honor to have you guys. Like I said, I've been following your journey, Doctor, for years now, and it's just incredible. I've even, worked with you through Messenger, trying to find out some solutions for a member of my church. So once again, just thanks for being on the show. It's incredible. So I've got some questions lined out that are really designed to pick your brain and get your wisdom for the audience, so we can find out, what about your journey. So, question one is like, well, where are you from and how did you really start as an entrepreneur? I know you have your own supplement brand.
Yes, right now. So I came from, of course, in Phil in Tarlac, in a small place in Tarlac. And now I'm in Texas, in Sherman, Texas. It's actually northern part of Texas. And the first time that I started my entrepreneurship experience was when I was in second year high school. It was my teacher who recruited me to be an Avon lady. And I felt so much, I had a lot of experience. I loved being an Avon lady. And I got 20% rebates, of course. And the most exciting part is that I was able to help a lot of people, make them more beautiful, and just be able to communicate with a lot of people. It's actually one of the best things that entrepreneurship has taught me.
Well, I love it, and a lot of people do get their start in network marketing. Because there's really, and it's a nice way. You get team building, you get mentorship, you get all of that stuff. So network marketing can be great, and a lot of people do start there in their entrepreneurship journey. Not everybody, but a lot. So that's great. Thanks for telling us about that. I have some other questions here. There's a big kind of like in the entrepreneurship community, especially online. You guys have probably seen it. I see it all the time. You guys have, you'll see it on Facebook, on Instagram. Guys, talking about, hey, grind all night long, only sleep a couple of hours. You got to build a life and all this kind of stuff. In other words, it's like eat crap for 10 years. Don't take care of yourself. Just grind away and then build your dreams. And I mean, I'm so anti that message. I couldn't want to make myself farther from it. Like, I believe in sleep. I believe in taking good care of yourself. I had somebody yesterday say that you've got to eat ramen noodles for 10 years if you want to own a business. And I had to literally correct the guy on my show. I had to stop him and say, hey, I can't preach this stuff to my audience, man, because, hey, at the end of the day, health is wealth. And that's why the name of this episode is Health is Wealth in Life and in Entrepreneurship. But, you guys have probably seen it. The guys that talk about grind away, grind, hustle, 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 and they glorify this thing about sleeping 2-3 hours a night. It's, they're probably not actually doing that. But, at the end of the day, all of that stuff is garbage to me. To me, health is wealth. And so I designed this question, why is it so important, doctor, to sleep and eat properly in life and in general, and especially for entrepreneurs who may be under added stress?
Well, entrepreneurs are innovators. I believe that they are the questions to a lot of problems in the world. And if we take care of our body as an entrepreneur, or even just a plain person, it's actually essential to life. So we have to eat foods that are nutritious. There is a research that says that if you eat foods that are rich in protein, it actually makes you more tolerant of some things happening to your life that are not fair, unfair treatment. So just by eating the right food, your system would be better, your attitude would be better, your thinking would be better. And again, high fat food, for me, the right types of fat food, they're essential to life as well. Our brain, it's made up of fats. 30% to 40% of your brain is fat. So the higher your fat intake, the right fat, the better your clarity comes.
Obviously, work-life balance is critical because folks that are going to say that you need to eat ramen noodles for 10 years and work yourself to death typically are selling some type of program. They're not actually doing that, because who wants to slave away, for 5-10 years and then wake up and realize that your children don't even know you or they despise you because you've been away all the time. There's far more things important to becoming successful. And I think one of the biggest critical factors is work-life balance. You need to have that balance within your life so that you are happy and you can find your contentment, which is a gift from the Lord. Because again, it doesn't matter how much success you achieve if your wife despises you, if your children despise you for never being there. Was it really worth it?
And entrepreneurship is equated to freedom. Having freedom to do, the things that are enjoyable to life. So it doesn't make sense to not sleep. It doesn't make sense to not eat properly because in life, we want to live longer.
Right.
Okay.
What good is it to work your whole life, and the thing is you sacrifice your health.
With quality.
Because, we saw many patients at our hospital, who had basically worked their entire life, become incredibly wealthy, and they're 60, 65, 70 years old, and their health is gone.
Yes.
And at that point, basically, you traded all that time for wealth. Now they're trying to trade all that wealth for a little bit more time.
You guys take notes. You're hearing it from the experts. These guys are entrepreneurs and they are healthy. So you've got to prioritize your health from day one. You need to sleep. You need to eat healthy. What do you guys think about sleep?
Well, you have to sleep.
I took a nap this afternoon. Took a glorious nap this afternoon.
So, well, sleep is important as well. Like what I said, it gives you clarity. And that's the most important thing that the sleep and the proper nutrition can do for entrepreneurs. Because you're problem solvers. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. I think they are the future of all countries, all communities, and all sectors of life. So if you don't have a proper sleep, or you don't take time to sleep, then you're compromising your health.
Excellent. So let's see what else I've got prepared here for you guys. What are some things that you would recommend specifically for entrepreneurs to do daily to keep up with their health?
Just exercise. That's one of the best thing that you can do to your body, because the muscle is connected. Your muscle is connected to your brain. So we have all connections. It's all connected to our central nervous system. So if you exercise, you exercise also your brain. So that's very important. Number one. Number two is do not do drugs. Drugs is bad. And number three is that if I really don't like people who drink. I think that alcohol is bad for our body. But some scientists, they think that a little wine is better or good for them. But for me, I don't think it's good for the body. Number four is that, of course, you have to eat nutritious food. And what are these nutritious food? They should be low in sugar, because sugar is highly inflammatory. They have to be high in fat, good fat, high in protein, of course, and high in complex carbohydrates. So those are the main reason, and not main reason. Those are the main things that everyone should be doing.
And you really need to avoid the energy drinks, because I myself years ago got really hooked on those, because I was offering storage space to a company that makes Rockstar at a building of mine in Southern California many years ago. I was letting them use my forklift, and so they would give me cases and cases and cases.
Oh, wow.
And so when you have this stuff for free, you first start thinking like, wow, I'm really fired up and getting a lot of stuff done.
Right.
When the point comes in time where you're drinking 6 or 7 of those a day, man, you are burning the candle at both ends severely. And so I felt so good when I was able to get those out of my life.
Absolutely. Yeah, those energy drinks, I've tried those before too. So what do you guys think about drinking soda? Do you guys drink soda at all?
No.
Coffee.
Yeah, we don't. He likes to drink coffee.
Or carbonated water.
Yes. So soft drinks, they're not really good for us because first thing is that they're rich in phosphoric acid. So this phosphoric acid, they are known to decrease the certain types of minerals in the body, primarily magnesium. So magnesium is essential to life. It is essential in 600 enzymatic activities in the body.
At least.
Yes. So without magnesium, you basically die. And there are some research that links magnesium deficiency to leukemia and lymphoma and some types of cancer. So we really don't advise people to drink soda.
Yeah, I haven't drank soda all year except for twice, and I don't really miss it. I think it's a big change for me. But I used to drink a lot of Coke.
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially in the Philippines, I drank a lot of Coke because it's at all the sorry stores,
And the thing is, I got to tell you, when you first get over to Phil and you get that Coke in a nice glass bottle,
Right.
boy, it tastes so doggone good. But it's literally just poison in a bottle.
And of course, sugar. It's loaded with sugar. You're just basically drinking sugar. And we know in a lot of research that sugar is linked to diabetes, cancer, hypertension, obesity, and metabolic diseases. And if your body, it has an addictive effect as well. That's why some people, if they drink soda, they would want to have another soda.
And why is that, Mom? What is it they're putting in the Coke that makes it people want more?
They have salt on it.
Sodium.
So the sugar, they have salt. So to mask the effect of sugar in the body, because if you're just drinking sugar, you don't wanna you wanna drink also some water on it. So that's the effect of soda.
Yeah. So basically, that little bit of salt in there makes you continue to be thirsty, but they have enough sugar in there to cover up the salt.
Right.
Who's going to sit down and just drink one Coke? You drink one Coke, you're still thirsty.
Yeah.
Because of the salt in there.
I think the most important thing here about sugar is that it has an addictive effect in the body. So it's worse than cocaine and heroin. So that's the most important thing about sugar.
So I've shifted and I'm eating a lot of fruits, but those kind of sugars are okay, right?
No, some sugar that's why the fruits, the problem with fruits is also they're laden with sugar. And again, like what I said, sugar is not good. And for me, the reason why the fruits are not easier. Okay. I forgot my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
And you're probably referring to the fiber.
They have fibers on it. Okay.
Yeah.
The fibers, that's why when you eat a fruit that has fiber on it, you get full. So you don't get a lot of sugar in your system. So unlike the soda, which has a lot of sugar on it, they don't have any fiber.
Like, for example, I mean, a person could, if I ask you to eat 20 apples, you're going to have a very, very difficult time doing that. But if I basically juice 20 apples, no problem.
Yeah.
No, that's what I meant. Like, I'm eating whole fruits. So do you guys recommend eating whole fruits?
Yes, that's okay. Yes.
Yeah, not the juice. I mean, I do some orange juice, and I don't know what your view is on that, but I do. I mix it with barley grass powder,
Okay.
And I take a little orange juice, but I'm definitely eating a lot of blueberries, raspberries, and a lot of the frozen berries because those are really easy to get and things like that. But
Mhm.
um, so let's talk about your supplement company for a couple of minutes. How did you start that, and how are you using the power of the internet to really make it grow?
Well, when we were in Phil, it was a different business model because I'm a medical doctor. I practiced there. So it started 20 years ago with my father. So he was a herbalist. Now, the problem with him is that he didn't have the credibility. He didn't have the credibility. So he had this wonderful idea, but he didn't have the patient. He didn't have the people basically who tried the product that improved. So what he did was that he went from houses to houses, patients to patients, just basically scouting patients. And these patients, it didn't really trust them, and some patients they trusted them and they got better. Some of them they didn't get better. So he needed someone as a sidekick. So I was his sidekick, and I wasn't an entrepreneur back then. I was just a worker working for my dad.
But that's why he wanted you to become a doctor.
Yes. So that's what happened to our business. And then when he died, it was 6 years ago.
Almost 6 years
Almost
ago.
6 years ago, he didn't leave me a single pesos. So we
But
just
he left you intellectual property.
yeah, he left me an intellectual property. He left me with tons of experiences and, of course, patience. So my husband and I, when we were starting, we didn't have a lot of money. We have this house that we have to sell for 2 million pesos. So we sold that house and then we bought a property, a very cheap property in Victoria, Tarlac, where no one knows where we are.
Yeah, it was out in the middle of nowhere.
It was out of the middle of nowhere. We bought that property for 1.5 million. It's how many hectares?
It was 1 hectare.
It was 1 hectare.
Wow.
So we went there, and then I said, yeah, we have a property, but we don't have a building. So there was this contractor who said, Doctora, I can build you a clinic for 500,000 pesos. So, okay,
So
it's a
that
house.
closed
it's
the
a
deal. That sealed the deal.
So it's a house, it's a clinic. Lo and behold, it was just a frame, 500,000. So I was like, we went to a lot of banks, and no one would lend us any money.
Yeah, we went to
We went to pawn my jewelry.
pawn shops.
We went to it
What
was
do they
difficult.
call that?
510.
510. You know, 5
It's 5'6", right?
5'6". We went to 5'7",
So
5'8", 5'10".
So we just bit we just bit the bullet because we didn't have any money.
And so no, we were
And
just
then-
seeing patients a few at a time, just squeaking by, just to get the building done. Because they knew, once we're able to get the building done, once we're able to get the website done, all this behind the scenes legwork, we knew that things would go incredibly well when we could really, really start promoting.
So that's when it all started, and I had a very good marketing man. Because when you are an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you can really sell.
Truly.
So you need a great marketing man. So I thought my dad was the best marketing man in my life. And then he said, and then when he came, and I said, wow, I was mistaken. It was my husband who was the best marketing man in my life.
We come from different schools of thought, because my father-in-law was a very, very, very intelligent man. And he was from the age of print marketing, print advertising. So he did lots and lots of print advertising, in all sorts of papers throughout the Philippines. And when I told my wife, I said, no, we have to shift everything to digital. We had the track record of success that she was able to develop with my father-in-law, but we had to basically take all that and go digital with it. Because my father-in-law oftentimes would print up, in the different magazines and newspapers, the different patient stories and testimonies, and for example, the testing that was done at St. Luke's, the testing that was done at UP Diliman, which UP Diliman did not like, and they sued him over that.
For intellectual property.
Yeah, because he used their logo. They did testing on the Boston Sea product. They found it to be incredibly effective against numerous cancer cell lines. And when he printed that in the paper with the results, they sued him because they didn't like the fact that their logo was used. in the paper. So, in fact, he ended up winning that lawsuit. Didn't
Yes,
he?
yes. Okay. So that was it. That was the initial. When my dad died, it was me
Yeah.
and my husband who
Yeah.
started it. And it was so fast.
Oh, yeah,
It was
so-
so fast.
because-
It was like 2.5 years.
Anyway, so we took everything digital, and things went so quickly because you're able to have so much wider of a reach. Because when you're talking about print advertising, you print it once, it's done. You know, if it happens to hang around, if someone happens to find it, then that's awesome. But that's not typically what happens. Whereas in the digital space, once you put that up, as long as it's still hosted somewhere, it's still up. And if it gets indexed on the search engines, it's still findable. It's still searchable. That's why it's so important for folks that they really are serious about being an entrepreneur. They have to be online. And if they say, well, I don't understand online, I don't understand Facebook. Well, you better figure it out.
Yep.
You know, if you want to grow your business, if you want to have, financial success and freedom, you better figure it out.
So
Which is why having an entrepreneurship program like this through you is so valuable. You know, giving people the tools and skills that are required in order to achieve that level of success.
Okay, so when that happened, so it was just 2.5 years. It was when he took over that we went to online, and that was it. So we had 8 buildings, and we had 8 buildings in 2.5 years. We were building.
Oh, we were hell bent for leather building.
From 2 million. That's our starting capital. We went to a lot. You know, we built so many buildings, and by the time that the FDA closed my facility
Illegally,
Right.
we had this we are building one of the biggest building dedicated to natural medicine, which is a hospital.
it was about 1/3 done at the time.
It was
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works out because basically we were building a very, very large hospital dedicated to natural medicine and specifically natural medicine for cancer. And so as soon as we were closed, something that passed within about 170 days through the Senate, House, and through the Office of the President in Philippines was the Cancer Control Act, which basically put all cancer care under the auspices of oncology.
oncologist.
Because, the thing is, you want to get a bill like that passed, you better get the number one competitor out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know how comfortable you guys are talking about that in more detail, but gosh, I've read the stories and it seems pretty clear what happened there. And I think here in the United States, we're probably in the same situation in some instances. With the natural, and it's really a shame. And I just hope that people will look you up after this show and find out what it is that you're up to, so they can seek out and get the help and the relief that they need. So you guys, if you're struggling with health issues, just look Dr. Farrah up and see what she's all about, because there's ways to go about things in life that are not traditional. You don't have to put poison in your body every time. So and that's incredible. I'm just so humbled to have you on the show. I mean, it's great. So that brings me to my next question. How important is it to remain humble and help a lot of other people as you rise to the top? From my experience, I would say 7 out of 10 highly successful entrepreneurs are humble and they're willing to talk and they're good people. But you get a few that are bad apples and they get really filled with pride. But that's not the majority. Most successful people I have found to be good. But so what would you say is very important about remaining humble and helping others and continuing to give as you rise to the top?
Well, humility, being humble, draws people to you because, we are created in Jehovah's image. And Jehovah is a humble God. He doesn't like prideful people. So naturally, we are also drawn to people who shows the same characteristic as Jehovah. So that's very important for me.
I mean, who wants to hang out with somebody who's an arrogant, knucklehead? Nobody does.
No.
And it's really unfortunate that a lot of folks who are basically in the space of oftentimes teaching others tend to be these very arrogant, flashy type folks. I mean, one of the things I discovered many years ago in the industry, as far as success, mentorship, network marketing many years ago, I found that there were a lot of people that were involved in that industry who were basically all flash, no cash. I can remember the saying, fake it till you make it.
Right.
I know folks that, they would go out and buy all these suits, a big fancy, fake Rolex watch, getting a uber fancy car, these really terrible attitudes, thinking that they were all that. That's like, man, you're not going to attract people like that. You got to be giving. You got to be generous. You got to be willing to build people. Because when you're building a business, the most important aspect, literally, of building that business is to build the people that are a part of it. Make them want to work with you. Make them want to be part of your cause. Because someone's not going to, slave away and toil just so you can have another Ferrari.
Right.
They need to have something they can basically cling on to help propel forward. Something that makes sense, something that is for the betterment of humanity, like what you've always done, honey.
Absolutely. So, guys, I always ask this question to everybody that comes on the show, and it looks like since we've got a couple of more minutes, I'll throw it in there. What would you say to the watcher who just has a smartphone and that they've got the internet, they've got a phone, they want to start a side hustle, they want to be an entrepreneur? What would you tell them?
You just need courage. You have to be courageous to do what it is that you want to do. I mean, smartphone, that's all that you need, and courage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you're talking, if you have a smartphone, you have access to a small word processor there. You have access to a video camera. You have access to a camera. You have access to communications. The thing is, like my father-in-law, here's a fellow that became incredibly successful and wealthy. He never had a smartphone. He didn't have all those tools. He did it with, pens and paper and things like that, and newspapers and, applying in magazines. So the thing is, to be able to have a smartphone is just so incredible. And like my wife says, one of the biggest factors there is simply courage. Because one of the things I learned many years ago that was of great benefit was, when it comes to success, especially if this is meant to be, it's up to me.
Amen.
I got to do it.
I love it.
If I have that smartphone, I have so many tools, at my grasp. You can literally run a business, a very, very successful business, off of a smartphone. In fact, most of the time we run our business off of a smartphone.
A smartphone. Jesse, my dad, he died, but I learned so many things about him. He was a stowaway when he was very, very young, and he only had 10 pesos in his pocket.
Yeah, he lived at the park in Manila for a couple of months.
In Manila Bay. Are you familiar with that?
We used to live there on the beach.
So he used to live there in the beach. He was a stowaway boy. He didn't have anything. No one believed in him, but he believed in himself.
Yeah.
He was a good man.
Did you ever go to eat at Aristocrat?
I passed by it, didn't go in.
He worked there back in the day for no wages.
For free.
For tips only. And in order for him to eat, what he told me he would do is when people would give him their food to go pack it up for the to-go bags, he would often slice off a little piece for himself so that he'd have something to eat.
Wow.
And then working just for tips. And basically he was able to finish putting himself through high school doing that, and then was able to get a chess scholarship.
In college.
For college.
Yeah, on a chess scholarship. It was so funny because there was a story about that, about my husband.
I'll tell you this real fast.
Yeah, real fast.
Years ago, he's sitting there playing chess with my daughter, my father-in-law, and he's teaching her. And what I didn't know is he'd actually written a book on chess many, many years before that, but I was unaware of that at this time. But he's teaching my daughter chess. And I'm like, what the heck are you learning that for? And she's like, well, Daddy, I'm going to be on the chess team. The chess team? Like, chess ain't no sport. And my father-in-law turns to me and says, you're probably unaware I went to college on a chess scholarship. No, sir, I was not aware of that. My apologies. And so, again, it was an opportunity for me to be humble.
Right.
I didn't show humility, and I didn't know the value, of everything that he'd gone through, and how chess, something as simple as chess, a little game like that, played such a key factor in his life to allow him to be educated. So let's never underestimate the little things.
Absolutely, guys. Well, it's been an honor having you on the show, and I want people to follow up and learn more about what you do, because I think it's incredibly powerful. And if I ever get into a situation, I'll be calling you first, 100% for sure. So how can people find you and find out what you're about and what it is that you actually know, and your products, and what you, the kind of I guess you can say, alternatives that you promote?
Basically, they can find my wife at drfarrah.com. That's DOCTORFARRAH.com, or drfarrah.com, DRFARRAH.com, DRF.MD, all sorts of places. You can find her on Instagram at
Facebook.
drfarrahmd.com. Multiple pages on Facebook, where she's got about close to 5 million followers now on all of her pages.
Yes.
You know, so this little bird, despite the fact of being, so kind and lovely and generous, she knows her stuff.
Incredible, guys. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Tuition Free School of Entrepreneurship show. I want to be very respectful of your time. So looking forward to meeting you guys maybe one of these days in person. And God bless you. Thanks for coming on.
God bless you as well.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.